Hi everyone, back with another example from homework number 23. So this is another example where we are going to be modeling with systems. So in addition to the information that's given to us in writing, we also have a chart to interpret. Let's read the problem carefully. Kitchen corner produces refrigerators, dishwashers, and stoves at 3 different factories. The table below gives the number of each product produced at each factory per day. Kitchen Corner receives an order for 142 refrigerators, 188 dishwashers, and 148 ovens. How many days should each plant be scheduled to fill this order? So again, just like with the problem we just finished, let's think about what the answer to this question is going to look like. So the question is, how many days should each plant be scheduled? We have 3 plants, factory A, B, and C. So the answer is going to look like this many days at factory A, this many days at factory B, and this many days at factory C. So those are my unknowns. You can call them X, Y, and Z if you like. You can frankly call them anything at all. Just for a change of pace, let's call them A, B, and C. You really can call your unknowns anything you like. Okay, so now let's look for those pieces of information that are going to describe the 3 relationships that we're going to use to solve this problem. Okay, so there they are. Kitchen Corner receives an order for 142 refrigerators, 188 dishwashers, and 148 ovens. So remember, each one of the factories makes a set number of refrigerators, dishwashers, and stoves in a day. So for example, if I run factory A for 1 day, I get 8 fridges, 16 dishwashers, and 10 stoves out of that day. If I run factory A for 2 days, I get 16 refrigerators, 32 dishwashers, and 20 stoves. So looking across the board at refrigerators. So my first equation is going to be my refrigerators equation. In A days at factory A, I will have made 8 A refrigerators. In B days at factory B, I will have made 10 B refrigerators. And C days at factory C, I will have made 14 C refrigerators. The total number of refrigerators that I want is 142. So that tells me that 8A plus 10B plus 14C is equal to 142. Now let's look at dishwashers. So again, we want 188 total dishwashers in A days at factory A, B days at factory B, and C days at factory C. So that gives me 16A plus 12B plus 10C. Those are my dishwashers, and that's equal to 188. And then last but not least, I've got my ovens. So this is a problem where the wording is a little bit confusing. We are to assume that the word stove and the word oven means the same thing. So I wanted to make sure to do this problem with you so that that confusion was spelled out. So again, in A days at factory A, I have 10A stoves or ovens. In B days at factory B, I have 18B ovens and 6C ovens from factory C, and all told, that's 148. So this is my system. I have equations 1, 2, and 3, and we're going to go ahead and solve. First things first, the more you can clean up your equations, the better. Looking at the first equation, you have 8a, 10b, and 14c. Notice that 8, 10, and 14 are all divisible by 2, and 142 is divisible by 2 as well. So I'm going to rewrite equation A as 4a plus 5b plus 7c is equal to 71. Now, looking at the second equation, I see the same thing. 16, 12, 10, and 188 are all divisible by 2. So I'm going to divide 2 out. So I'll have 8a plus 6b plus 5c is equal to 94. And then lastly, looking across the last equation, everything there divides by 2 as well. So I have 5a plus 9b plus 3c is equal to 74. So these are the same 3 equations. But simplified as far as possible. It's generally pretty good practice to do that. So what I'm going to do with this system is I'm actually going to work to get it into triangle form. So that means I want all 3 variables in the first system, only B and C in the second, and only C in the third. So, okay, so I guess our first order of business is to eliminate A from equations 2 and 3. Since I don't want A in the second equation, I don't want A or B in the third one. So to do this, I'm going to go ahead and take the first equation and multiply it by -2, and then I'm going to add that to the second equation. So that gets me -8a minus 10b minus 14c is equal to -142. And the second equation is 8a plus 6b plus 5c is equal to 94. So if I add those together, I get -4b minus 9c is equal to -48. And I don't like all of those negatives, so I'm going to multiply both sides by -1 just to clean up my equation. So that gets me my new second equation, 4b plus 9c is equal to 48. So this is my new equation 2. Now I want to get rid of both A and B in the third equation. So I have multiple ways to do this. So to eliminate A, I'm going to go ahead and use equation 1. I'm going to take the first equation and multiply it by -5. And I'm going to take the third equation and multiply it by 4 and then add. So I'm taking the first equation times -5 and the third equation times 4. So that gets me -20a minus 25b minus 35c is equal to -355. And then the third equation times 4, I have 20a plus 36b plus 12c is equal to 296. So when I add these together, I get 11b minus 23c is equal to negative 59. All right, so now I want to get rid of b here. And I think what I'll do, so this is my new equation 3. I think what I'll do is I think I'll use my equation 2 for this. To be honest, the numbers are going to be a little bit big, but I'm going to take my equation 2, which is 4b plus 9c equals 48. I'm going to multiply that by 11. I'm going to multiply equation 3 by negative 4, and then I'll add. So I'm going to take equation 2 times 11, and equation 3 times negative 4, and then add. So that gets me 44b plus 99c, and then 48 times 11. Let's do that on a calculator to make sure we don't get anything wrong. So that's 528. And I'm going to multiply the third equation by negative 4. Pay close attention to your signs. So we have negative 44b plus 92c is equal to positive 236. So then when we add them together, the 44b's are going to cancel by design. And so we're left with 191c. And I'll just add those on a calculator to make sure we don't mess anything up. So we have 528 plus 236. And that's 764. So what I guess we should take a moment to write is our new system. So our first equation is unchanged, at least not since after we simplified it. Our second equation and our third equation. So from here, we're going to kind of go backwards. So from the bottom equation there, we'll divide both sides by 191, and we get that c is equal to 4. We're going to plug that into the second equation. So we'll have 4b plus 9c. c is 4, so 9c is 36, is equal to 48. So we'll subtract 36 from both sides. We'll get 4b is equal to 12, so b is 3. And now that we have b is 3 and c is 4, we'll plug 3 in for b and 4 in for c in the first equation. So we have 4a, 5b is 15, 7c is 28, is equal to 71. 15 plus 28 is 43. When we subtract 43 from 71, we get 28. So 4a is 28, and a is 7. So that answers our question. So let's fill in our blanks to finish this problem. 7 days at factory A, 3 days at factory B, and 4 days at factory C is what it takes to produce 142 refrigerators, 188 dishwashers, and 148 ovens.